bit of ourselves. You know, it's easy to lose track of what day it is, especially during this time. It's also easy to get caught up in our little worlds. You know, I've been so focused on the fires here in California that I didn't realize that Hurricane Laura was working her devastation over on the other side of the U.S. until a friend of mine asked how my parents were handling the storm in West Virginia. Well, of course, I immediately called my dad. They are fine, but it made me realize that my life is very small compared to the rest of the world. And although I do call my parents every week, I realized I needed to open my eyes a little more often. So we want to make sure that we lift up all of those who have been affected by the devastation of Hurricane Laura. Homes destroyed and lives lost. We lift up all of the families and towns into the arms of God and pray for comfort and assistance and healing mercies. We also want to continue lifting up our friend Sharon Graham, who has been in the hospital. We continue sending healing mercies to her. We would also like to lift up Aya and Renee Garza. We pray that God wraps his loving arms around you, taking care of every need that you may have. Now, as we continue, we pray that God will give us faith to trust that God will hear our prayers.
So
midweek post this week talked about hope. When choosing the theme for today, we talked about doing a full Sunday service about it. I asked Joel if hope was one of the 3 virtues. He had already been thinking about the fruits of the Spirit. When we finally got on the same page, 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. And so this week, we talk about faith. If we're going to do a sermon series, Joel's logical mind has to go in order. Faith is defined as complete trust in someone or something, concise, firm. Its second definition, referring to religion, is less concrete. A strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion, based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof. Merely a strong belief. Interesting. Hebrews probably defines it best. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. Chapter 11 of Hebrews is really a perfect sermon about faith. It talks about the faith of Abel, Noah, Moses, Abraham, Sarah. The list goes on, lauding all our ancestors of tremendous faith. How visible are our people of faith today? Or how strong is our faith? Really, how strong is our faith? Being both human and divine, it's interesting to see Jesus' human side. And curious that he was often most irked when talking to people about their faith. Matthew 17 tells us, at the foot of the mountain, a large crowd was waiting for them. A man came and knelt before Jesus and said, "Lord, have mercy on my son. He has seizures and suffers terribly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. So I brought him to your disciples, but they couldn't heal him." Jesus said, "You faithless and corrupt people, how long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me." Then Jesus rebuked the demon in the boy, and it left him. From that moment, the boy was well. Afterward, the disciples asked Jesus privately, "Why couldn't we cast out that demon?" "You don't have enough faith," Jesus told them. "I tell you the truth, if you had faith even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it would move. Nothing would be impossible." With over 400 references in some versions of the Bible, it's easy to see why Jesus gets frustrated. He's told the disciples alone countless times. How many times do we hear Jesus say, "Oh, ye of little faith"? From storms to walking on water to many other miracles the disciples witnessed, their faith was still weak. Later in chapter 21, early in the morning, as Jesus was on his way back to the city, he was hungry. Seeing a fig tree by the road, he went up to it, but found nothing on it except leaves. Then to it, "May you never bear fruit again." Immediately the tree withered. When the disciples saw this, they were amazed. "How did the fig tree wither so quickly?" they asked. Jesus replied, "Truly, I tell you, if you have faith and do not doubt, not only can you do what was done to the fig tree, but also you can say to this mountain, 'Go throw yourself into the sea,' and it will be done. If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer." This also reinforces the idea that nothing is impossible with faith. Twice here, Jesus mentions moving mountains. Paul states it again in Corinthians, the faith to move mountains. How many of you have thought about that or tested it? Impossible, right? We may even have tried it. Full faith. I believe I can make that mountain move. And it didn't. So we rationalize. Of course, Jesus was being metaphorical. The Bible is merely moral parables meant to put us on the right path. Is this the case? Or in the back of our minds, as we commanded that mountain to move, were we really thinking, this will never work? It can't. Science. The lesson isn't to make us feel bad, to scold ourselves for not having faith. It's just a reminder. No matter how many times Jesus became frustrated with the disciples and the crowds, he continued to nurture them on their path. God knows our weaknesses and continues to show abundant grace. And if the disciples who did have the faith to leave their lives and follow Jesus for 3 years still struggle to believe, can we expect that we'll be better? But the next time we worry, turning to God in our anxiety or praying for a desirable outcome to a situation, perhaps we can muster the faith of a poppy seed and truly believe in the outcome, fully aware of the power of our unseen God.
I'm holding on to faith, 'cause I know you make a way. I always understand, I don't always get to see. I will believe it, I will believe it. I will speak to my fear. I will preach to my doubt. You were faithful then. You'll be faithful now. You may count to do. Only giants love. You strong to face. You may praise love. I will speak to my fear. I will preach to my doubt. You were faithful then. You'll be faithful now. You were faithful then. You'll be faithful now. You were faithful then. You'll be faithful now.
We're gonna finish up here with one more song. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Rising to the setting sun.
Love endures forever.
And by the grace of God, we will carry on.
Love endures forever. I hope that you have a wonderful week. We hope to see you on Wednesday and on next Sunday. So please go in faith, full of hope, covered in God's love.